Hello, in this lesson, we're going to go through more great detail about the actual measurement system that you can use to get a good 3/4 view. It'll also train your brain, the neural network, to develop a feel for the 3/4 face. So you don't want to draw this all the time, but it's always good if you're just having a hard day and you're just like, man, I just can't seem to get the 3/4 view to look right. This little guide here is really super helpful. So how it works is like this. You go ahead and take a perfect circle, and it has to be a perfect circle. If your circle's not perfect, then it's not going to quite look right. So you hold down the shift in both Photoshop or Manga Studio 5, and then in Manga Studio 5 I'm going to go to edit, and I'm going to go ahead and outline the selection like so. This just gives me a perfect circle. Now you can use a protractor if you're working by hand or whatever. Now the next thing I want to do, I'm going to do this all with the line tool here, is you divide the circle in half. Hold down the shift key if you want to make sure that it gets a nice straight line. Divide the circle in half this way. That's right about where the eyebrows go. Divide the circle in half again on this side. And this is right about where your ears will go. I'm actually going to make that go back a little bit more. You can actually mess with this a little bit. It doesn't have to be exactly perfect. Like so. Now when you divide this line in half here, just bring it all the way down. This will be right about where the middle of the chin is. Alright, so that's about where your chin's going to be. The next part is like, I don't know, it's a little bit more difficult. What I like to do is I just kind of imagine I'm cutting off the end of the circle there, and then I'm dividing what's left here in half. And that's going to be where the eye starts. This is going to be right here where this foreshortened eye is. This line right here, the middle line, is actually where your eyeball starts. You can actually have the edge of it start there if you want shorter eyes. If you want slightly longer eyes, have it kind of extend outside, and that's just the white part of the eye. The next part is important here, is this line that comes down here also is where the nose will start, and then it's where it's going to bridge out from here. The nose will be higher than here. Normally you draw the nose right here on the bottom of the circle. We're actually going to draw the nose a little bit higher over here. And that's just something that you memorize. The bottom of this line will be kind of like where the beginning of the lips start. Now what's really important here when you draw this line out is take the eyebrow line and then take where your eye line is going to be. Now where the eye line goes is the same place it went in the front view. It's not quite in half. Again, imagine the same thing. Imagine you're kind of cutting off the bottom of the circle. One thing you could do is, if you want to make it exact, is you can take the point that this line reaches and this line reaches at when we cut the circle in half and half over here. Take that and divide it in half. And that right there is pretty much where the bottom of your eyes are going to be. The eyebrows are going to be up here, and this will be where the bottom of your eyes are going to be. The next is that you want to try to figure out, well, where are my lips and all that kind of stuff going to go, in the jawline and everything. Well, this line right here is going to be right about where the jawline starts, and so you can just go, okay, I know the jawline's going to kind of come to about here. This is about where the middle of the lips are going to be, and that's where the bend is going to start to happen, where you start to go down to the chin. But before we can do that, we have to know how far down does the chin go. This is why I had you make this line here for the eyes. You take this length from here to here, and you duplicate that length. So you take that length and duplicate it, and that line right there is going to be where the bottom of the chin is. And so now you know you have this kind of curve. It goes about like this, and it curves back over here, oops, to the chin. I should probably do that line again. Comes back over here to the chin. And then you have this line coming up to about where the nose is, and then about up here to where the bottom of the eye is. So it's just about shaped like that. That shape right there is the perfect shape you need to start drawing your head on. So now all you do is you take a different color here so we can actually see it, and just sketch in the basic shapes of everything. So we know that the eyebrow and eyes are going to fit in this area here, so I'm just going to draw the basic shape here. I know that that's going to come down and form my nose, and my nose is actually going to come off and have a shape about right here like this. It's going to take up this whole entire space. That's the basic shape of the nose. You can also kind of do like an oval shape here where the nose is going to be. I know my lips, I need that fill trim to be the same length and everything, so I know my lips are going to start somewhere right around here. Just kind of draw a basic shape for now where the lips are going to be. Some shape like that works. kind of like a diagonal oval. I know my other eyebrows are going to fit up on here like that, so just kind of draw where they're going to be. I can now draw my eye coming out here, like so. Remember, it's being foreshortened. Talk about that more. Just the basic shape of the eye. You can keep this right here all for right now as just the basic shape of the face. The ear is going to come off around here. It's going to be a little bit lower. Just doesn't go to about the lower of the nose right there. The head, I like to cut the head off and come like this right here. That's about where my head's going to be. This eye is going to be a full eye length away, so if you take it from here to here, you can actually have it extend out. It just depends on how big you want the eye to be. That's the bottom of the eye, that line's the bottom of the eye. If you use the basic shape here, like that. And there you have it. If you follow this guideline, you're sure to draw good, pretty faces from 3/4 view. Then you'd have to just watch the rest of the section to figure out how to draw everything else, like the lips and things like that. Right, but there it is. And then you have your hair, which would fall on here. It's gonna come out this side. The next to come off of here and here. Hair's gonna come out like that. Depends on the hairstyle. A lot of the hair won't be seen on that side of the face. It will be seen a lot on this side of the face. Right, so there it is. So if you follow that guideline, it's really easy to memorize. So just memorize drawing that several times. Once you have that down, then you can start drawing faces, where you're just kind of like, drawing your lines, everything, kind of where you want the face to be at, and you kind of start getting a feel for how the face looks like, in that 3/4 view, and you're able to put, all of those shapes in there and get different types of 3/4 views. Right, so hopefully that helps you get started. Again, meticulously measure everything. If you're working with pencil and paper, measure everything. Measure the perfect circle with a protractor, or take something round that's somewhat of a decent size. You can use like a cup or something like that, and use the pencil around the bottom of the cup to make a perfect circle, and then make sure you use a ruler to cut in half, cut in half, cut in half, and so forth. Follow the exact guidelines step by step as I just did, and then draw the basic shapes inside of there, and then try drawing some faces. You're going to see like, wow. But finish watching the rest of this part of the course so you can learn how to draw eyes and nose and mouths from the 3/4 view, and hair, and then you'll put it all together, and it all works with that, with this formula underneath it all. But it'll really train your brain. If you draw this formula over and over again, I know it's meticulous, having to measure it and draw it over and over again, but if you do that, it'll train your brain to know where everything's supposed to be. And you can sometimes just start with like drawing the eyes, and you can go from there, knowing how everything's going to fit. You can be like, okay, so once you have this kind of feel for everything, they're going to be an eyeball apart, they're going to have the eyebrows up here, the nose, you have a feeling for about where the nose is going to be. And you can kind of you can start to work from that, because you kind of know, where everything is going to fit at. Kind of give her kind of open mouth here, and then you have the shape of the head, of the face coming down. Decide how big you want her chin to be and stuff, and where you want the ear to be. And there you go. So you can actually work, from wherever you want to, because you know now where everything's supposed to be at. But it takes a while to get that point, and to get to that point, for your brain has understanding of the relationship of all of those features and how far away they are from each other, is to draw this very, very kind of like boring map over and over and over and over and over again, and then your brain will have it. Give it time. It's not going to happen overnight. Draw a bunch one day with using the rule and everything. Wait a day maybe. Draw a bunch the next day. You'll get better and better at it. And then trying to draw it first from the video here, using the exact measurements and everything. After a while, you'll have this memorized exactly where everything goes. And once you have this memorized, you can just be bored and sitting somewhere and on your phone or whatever, piece of paper and a pad, just start doing this formula right here. Just sketch out this formula, and even try it. If you don't have something to draw a perfect circle with, try to draw the best perfect circle you can, and just do this, bang out this formula. But I recommend drawing that perfect circle first, because before you start freehanding circles. The reason why is that way everything is exactly how it's supposed to be, and that's what you want your brain to memorize. If your brain memorizes an imperfect circle, if you're sitting here and you're drawing a circle and you think, that's a perfect circle, and you divide it in half here, and you divide it half here, and you divide it half here, you follow that basic measuring procedure, and everything doesn't look right because your circle wasn't right to begin with. So make sure to make those circles perfect. Whatever you have to do to make them perfect, trace something, use a protractor, make sure the circle is perfect. You can freehand a straight line, so if you're good at freehanding straight lines, you don't have to use a ruler, but I highly recommend at the beginning to use the ruler, but definitely don't cut yourself short on that circle. I'm emphasizing this so much because I know so many people, they hear my teachings, they do them, and then they just like, I'm just gonna freehand a circle. And it looks good enough, but if you were to start, dividing everything and go through it all, you realize that, something looks wrong with your face, and it has to do with that circle. So you want to train your brain to have the proper relationship from the get-go, rather than having to retrain your brain. What's going to happen is, if you ignore my advice and just start freehanding circles and go, I can draw good circles, and you just freehand the circles and divide them and stuff, you're going to wonder why my faces don't look right. Then you have to start all over again and retrain your brain, which takes longer than training it the first time. To retrain your brain takes longer than training it the first time. So please don't make that mistake, because it takes forever to retrain your brain. Train it right the first time by tracing circles. Print out a circle if you have to. Go to a site, go to a perfect circle and print it out if you don't have a computer type program to draw in. Print out that perfect circle and trace over it, or print it out and then draw from there. Use the ruler and draw everything else on top of that perfect circle. But start with the perfect circle, guys. It's really important. It's so easy to pick up a cup and just trace a circle. All right, thank you for watching. And now that's pretty much it. You don't need a video for the exercises. The exercises is draw this a bunch of times using a perfect circle. All right, thanks.